What's up, guys? Welcome to the Agent David O Show. I am super excited about today's episode. We're going to be interviewing one of our newest agents, David Dyer, who's local here in St. Louis, Missouri. He's going to be sharing about his recent startup success working in our program and kind of his journey of how he got here, what he's doing to do deals and investments right now. Welcome to the show, David Dyer.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
You bet, man. We are excited as well. So, David, take us back before you joined Cashflow Nation. What was your real estate journey like, and what was kind of missing that made you realize you needed a change?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, the beginning of the real estate journey actually started before I got licensed. It started with buying my first flip. That came about 2 years before I got my license. So I got into this having a passion for the real estate investing space within this industry, and knew I wanted to work with investors and was just looking for, really the right environment, the right fit, the right team for where can I take what I'm passionate about, which is working with investors and investing myself, and really surround myself with other agents and coaching that allows for me to thrive.
Awesome. Yeah, I love that. And then out of all the choices out there, what was like the one thing about Cashflow Nation and our group here that convinced you that this would be the right home for the next step of your career?
Yeah, I think it's the fact that not only you, but all of your agents, all the agents on the team, invest in real estate themselves. So it's not just something we preach; it's something we actually do. So I want to surround myself with people who are doing the things in a professional sense that I want to be doing, and everyone on the team is doing those things. So. I think another thing that was attractive to me is to be able to surround myself with multiple agents who are just further down the road than I am. I want to be around people who are more knowledgeable, more successful, more experienced than I am, so I can learn, I can keep growing. So that was something that was really attractive to me about Cashflow Nation as well.
Yeah, I love that. What you said there really stood out to me that you found people that you wanted to model and be like
Yes.
and have a career like, and you chose to go join that brokerage that those people were at, which I love because so many of us as agents, we look at like commission splits and fees and stuff like that as like why I would join a certain brokerage. And I did that mistake early in my career. I chose the flat fee brokerage to join because it was only $300 a transaction. I could keep all my commission. And the
Hmm.
funny thing about that is everybody over there is doing one or two deals a year. And that's exactly what I fell in line with was what everybody around me was doing.
Mm.
And it's like, well, I didn't get into real estate to just do it on the side. I got into real estate so I could make money. And once I understood, I want to be at the brokerage with the high performers, the people that are doing millions of dollars in business every single year. I was willing to pay that price to get that education and to be around those folks. I love that.
Hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Completely agree with that.
Yeah. So you work heavily with investor clients compared to traditional retail buyers, as do I. What do you think the biggest difference in working with investors is, and why is it so much smoother and more efficient for you as an agent?
Yeah, I think one of the big differences with working with investors primarily is there is less emotion involved with the transaction. There's more analysis. There's more. It's more of it's more about the numbers per se. So there's just so much that goes into the underwriting that takes out some of the personal elements associated with the deal. You're not dealing with, the parent who showed up to the inspection and might have an issue with something that's not that big of a deal. There's just so many personal elements that get removed from the equation. And I think the other thing that's really key is the opportunity for repeat business through investor clients. Whereas a personal client is likely going to be a one transaction for years down the road. An investor might buy three, four, five properties in one single year. So there's really opportunity to grow my own business by focusing on investors.
That's awesome. Yeah, I love everything that you said there. Like the emotional uh turmoil that happens with regular retail home buyers is just crazy. And you mentioned the parent that showed up to the inspection. Sounds like you've been there before.
I have a handful of time. It's for the most part, I've never had a horror story associated with that. I've heard a few
Yeah.
though.
Yeah, there's always some extra hurdles to jump over there. And I too have experienced the same. It's like when you can show an investor the numbers and this deal makes money, why would they not buy it? And it's doesn't
Mm,
come down to emotions at that point. It comes down to numbers on a spreadsheet. Um, which what is really cool about our job is like we can figure that out a lot of times, like sitting at our computer or sitting at our phone. We don't actually have to go to the property, um, especially with rentals that are already occupied that you can't show until you get a contract on them anyway. So
right.
like we can analyze a deal in 5 minutes from our computers or phones and be able to tell somebody that this is a good investment property and they write an offer. Have you had something like that happen this year?
Have. Yeah, there have been a handful of transactions with occupied rentals where we haven't had the ability to tour the property. And so, we'll look through the Google Earth photos to get an idea. But we're really just looking at the financials provided, the ARVs, the rents, things like that, that I can do from my laptop in 10 minutes where I don't even have to drive to the property in that scenario.
Yeah, that was amazing when that started happening for me. And I was like, I was taking, my sister-in-law or my aunt or whoever it is to through 40 houses a weekend, for 6 months. And here I work with this investor, and in 5 minutes we write an offer from my computer. I didn't even get in the car. It's like,
Yeah.
wow,
Mhm.
that's amazing.
It is.
Yeah, that's really good. And you talked about the repeat business, which is huge. The census data, this is even a couple years old. It said that the average American is moving every 12.8 years. And
Mm,
that's moving. So that includes renters too. So the person that's buying a house and selling a house to move is even longer than that. So we're talking like you sell a primary home to your sphere of influence, you might be waiting on average 15 years before you have the opportunity to have repeat business with this person that you had to build all this trust and loyalty with to get to use you in the first place. And oh, by the way, you have to keep in contact with them for the whole 15 years because you never know when they're going to decide to move.
right.
Versus the real estate investor, most of them are trying to build a portfolio, prepare for retirement, and I've never seen anybody pull off one investment property and all of that gets accomplished, right? They're usually
Right.
buying multiple investment properties to add to their portfolio to prepare for financial independence or early retirement or just regular retirement for that matter. And so we get the benefit of being able to work with these clients that are doing multiple transactions a year, and it's just way more efficient, way more rewarding, and takes a lot of the frustration and fog out of
Mhm.
being a regular realtor. So I love that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you joined less than a year ago. I think we're 8 months into working together at this point. And so I just pulled up your sales numbers and I've been blown away by this. So in just over half of a year, you've closed 18 transactions. You've done $2.9 million in sales volume. You've earned $88,450 in gross closed commission. You've got seven pending or listing transactions right now, with another $1 million to come in, as well as another $32,550 in commission to be coming in. That's an amazing start to a real estate career. So how in the world were you able to pull this off, and how did maybe our system at Cashflow Nation kind of help you scale and navigate some of these investment deals?
Yeah, well, I appreciate you saying that, and thank you. I think the key to my success this year has been in this Cash Flow Nation team environment, where there's really just a collection of elements that are in my corner, whether that is support, coaching, and mentorship. There is an element of lead generation that comes in. There's the team environment where we keep each other accountable. We track how we're doing. We share what's working, what's not working. I'm not doing this by myself. I'm doing this as a part of a team. I have resources around me. I have you, David, to go to with questions for advice, for guidance. If there's something in a challenging transaction I haven't just come across before. So I really think it's that combination of all of these elements that are working in my favor, being a part of Cashflow Nation, that have made this all possible.
Awesome, dude. Yeah. What I pulled out of that is like you're not doing this alone. And it just takes me back to when I was a solo agent
Mhm.
on my own at a Keller Williams or a flat fee brokerage or wherever I've been through a number of them, and just being on my own with nobody in my corner to actually hold my hand and help me do the things that were going to result in closed commissions.
Mhm.
It's such a lonely place to be. And you found our group, and our group is so excited to kind of help fill in all those gaps around you and ensure that you have the absolute best chance of success. And you took the action, which is the biggest factor in all that. So awesome job, David. We're so excited to have you here, and we hope to continue to grow your success and your transactions and all that in the months and years to come.
Thank you. That's exactly what I'm looking forward as well. It's been a great year, and I'm looking forward to just continuing to grow from here.
Cool. So, if you had to kind of pinpoint the single best thing about being part of Cashflow Nation, what would it be and why?
Great question. Well, I think I've hit a lot of what I've accomplished on the agent side this year. I think what I haven't touched on is part of being a part of Cashflow Nation. Like I said, it's being around other agents who are investing themselves. So, in addition to all of the positive elements, just growing my agent business that comes with being a part of this team, there's also the element of growing as an investor myself. So whereas last year, I didn't purchase any houses for myself. That was not where I'm trying to be as an investor. Well, I joined Cashflow Nation. I'm in this group of agents who are all doing what I'm learning how to do. And now I'm actually getting in the game myself and purchasing deals. Closed a flip just last week. I'm under contract to purchase another property several weeks out that I'll keep as a rental, and really looking to keep the momentum from here. And a lot of that is enabled by, again, the resources that come with being on this team with other agents and investors, learning how to blend the two and use each other to continue to scale.
Dude, that's awesome. Congratulations on the flip and the rental that you're about to purchase. That is huge, dude.
Mm.
Like you are building your wealth in real estate while earning active income in the form of commissions. I mean, you're doing everything that we teach our agents to do, and it's just really cool to see you having success with it. And something a lot of agents overlook is like, so you've closed 18 transactions on just the agent side where you're helping other investors. And I want to know, like, did that play a part seeing those investment deals get closed for other investors, like kind of add to your experience and your comfort level to be able to go out and now do your own investment deals yourself?
Yes, absolutely. I am learning alongside, as I'm partaking in these investment deals with clients. I'm still able to observe and watch kind of what they're experiencing on their end, as the investor, and learn from that myself. There are, obstacles that come up that we learn to navigate. There are often referrals that I'm able to provide to clients, but sometimes clients are actually able to provide a referral to me that I can then use as an investor. I actually had one of my clients recently replace a roof for a price that I was shocked by, and was able to get the referral for. He was happy to share it with me, just as I'm share all my referrals with him. So we really benefit each other that way. So I absolutely think that I am also benefiting as an investor by working with other investors from a agent perspective.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's huge, and that's something a lot of us kind of overlook. I didn't realize I was getting all that experience. So I've
Hmm.
I've done about 50 investment deals on my own, but on the agent side, I've done over 500. And so I feel like I have the experience of an investor that's done 500 deals because I've been right there
Hmm.
alongside each and every one of these investors as they're making these investments. And I'm getting paid to earn that experience because I'm getting a commission and I'm not taking part in the risk of putting my money into the deal. It's kind of like a beautiful benefit that you're getting on the back end that you don't even realize a lot of times. So I
Absolutely.
love that.
Yeah.
All right. So in real estate sales, everybody always asks this, and I'd love to hear what your answer is to this question. But everybody's looking for a secret formula, like the one thing. What is the one thing that you can do that kind of attributes to your success? So if you could only tell people your number one rule for closing deals this year, what kind of wisdom would you give them?
Man, okay, the secret sauce. Well, I feel like I'd search for the secret sauce for a long time. I think the biggest thing for me, as someone who was always willing to learn, willing to put in the work, is putting myself in the right environment. I think that was the biggest deal for me. I think, it's not every team out there that is building up themselves as not only agents who work with investors, but investors themselves. We really are unique here with Cashflow Nation with what we do. So, being a part of this environment, coupled with I have the drive, I have the work ethic, I have the desire to learn, to observe from people around me, to grow. I have those things. But the biggest thing for me was then putting myself in the right environment to then really see the benefit of what I bring to the table already. But now I'm able to learn and grow from my environment, and specifically within the niche in real estate that I'm passionate about, which is the investing space. So that was the biggest thing for me for sure.
Yeah, that's awesome. So what's that quote? You're the average of the five people you spend the most time with.
Hmm.
And so you put yourself in an environment to surround yourself with people that you wanted to level up to, and you're clearly doing that in your first year with us here, and it's so exciting to see.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Awesome. So, is there a favorite quote, mantra, or kind of belief that you kind of repeat to yourself when you're pushing through a tough deal or kind of setting bigger goals?
Yeah, you know what there is. I think I'm going to paraphrase something that I heard recently, which is essentially, I cannot lose if I do not quit. And I think the idea, the visual that I get associated with that quote is that, um, let me back up actually. So getting into real estate in general for me was intimidating because I knew there was so much I didn't know how to do, skills I didn't have, resources I didn't have. So it was intimidating from the fact of I sit there for my W-2 job with a stable income and think, there's so many ways I could fail by doing this. I'm already stable, I'm already secure, but I want more, but I could just see myself crashing and burning and failing. What I've learned over the last several years is that the people who succeed aren't the ones who are avoiding failing once or twice or three times. They continue trying, until they finally figure it out and succeed. But really, you're only going to fail if you stop trying. Failing once isn't failing. Stop, quitting is what leads to failing. So I think that's the biggest thing for me. I cannot lose if I do not quit.
Dude, that's huge. That is awesome, dude. That's some pretty impressive wisdom right there. I want everybody to hear that because I mean, I was just thinking this the other day, talking to a new investor who was just kind of struggling to get started. And, he was kind of chalking it up to like, oh, well, you have all these investment properties and you have all this rental
Mhm.
income. And I'm like, dude, I've just failed a lot more than you have, man. You haven't failed once. Like I fail all the time and I just
Yeah.
get back up and learn and keep going and keep growing. And it's like he didn't understand that. He could not figure out
Hmm.
like I've failed so much more than him and that's why I succeed. And I love that quote, love that mantra. um that's what keeps us going, keeps us moving forward. There's no failure unless you quit, so don't
Hmm.
quit. That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right, so what would you say to kind of encourage a new agent right now, or somebody that's feeling stuck? They're having trouble closing deals or getting clients. What would you kind of give them to try to help them out and encourage them to grow?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for a new agent is decide really what is your niche or what is your lane within real estate. It may be working with investors, it may not be working with investors, but I think the most important thing is figure out what you're passionate about, what is going to lead to you not only growing and succeeding in business, but also enjoying what you do. I think that piece is important. And then once you have a vision for where you want to go with your business, find the right environment to be a part of where you can learn and you can grow and you can benefit by being around other people who are further down the road than you are. I really think that's crucial, especially when you're a new agent.
Dude, that's great advice. That's so good. I was just what came to mind there now that we're on mantras and quotes. Um, Riches are in the niches, right?
Mm,
Riches are in the niches. And then the other one that came to mind was that a jack of all trades is a master of none. And on one of my agent coaching calls just the other day, I had this exact conversation with an agent that was just, she was trying all of this different stuff. And like she felt like she was putting all of this effort in and getting no results. And I'm like, you are scattering your efforts across all of these different lanes, all of these different marketing channels. Like you're going an inch deep across an entire city. What I want you to do is go a mile deep in your backyard, right?
yeah.
So find
Hmm.
your niche, find what you are passionate about that you could get excited about going and becoming the master in this little area, and that's what's going to drive you to have success. And we took some time. It was like I think this call went like an hour long, but we kind of just mapped out like what was she passionate about, what was driving her and stuff like that. And we got to this whole place where, the conversation led us to she was passionate about helping like the older generation, transition into assisted living or a nursing
Mm,
home and helping them sell their belongings and sell the house as is and do that type of thing.
mm,
So we were able to just niche down into who is her ideal client, her ideal avatar, and where is she going to be, the master of helping that person. And now she has her marching orders. And so I'm excited to follow up with her in a couple months and see where that's leading because I think now she focuses all her effort there instead of helping somebody buy the Section 8 rental, helping somebody buy the big multifamily, helping somebody sell their $1 million personal home and just scattered across all these different marketing channels
mhm.
and clients. I think she's going to have a lot of success. So I love that advice. That's really good.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And, as I think about what you just said, really kind of figuring out what is your vision for what lane that you want to find yourself in. For me, I find that really in two different ways within the investment umbrella. One is working with newer investors who are looking for more guidance with learning how to underwrite, learning how to find deals, analyze deals, how to negotiate contracts, what contingencies are important or what can we get away with, how to just get an idea of estimating repairs even before we put an offer on the property, just learning how to walk through those steps. And then the second one has been really just networking with other experienced investors in the St. Louis market, um, getting a feel for how they work, what types of properties do they purchase, and then sending them deals, just being another source of deal flow for other experienced investors. And if it's working with a flipper, then I can list it on the back end for that client. Or if it's someone who's building up a rental portfolio, just finding a way to generate more commission that way. So those have really been the two lanes that I've tried to really dig deeper in and become an expert in.
That's awesome. Yeah. So you're constantly identifying these people when you're going to networking meetings or you're on Facebook scrolling. You can see, hey, this is the person that I'm trying to reach with my messaging, and all of your, everything is tailored to helping that person take the next step. I love that.
Mm.
All right, so let's kind of look ahead. So let's pretend we're looking 5 years out from now. Kind of where do you see yourself in your real estate career and kind of a leader within our community here at Cashflow Nation?
Looking 5 years out, I think the most clear vision I have is on the personal investing side for what my 5 years out plan would be. And that really starts with continuing to grow my rental portfolio. So my vision down the line is to build up enough rentals to sustain covering monthly expenses, to really paying down all of our debt, building up savings, getting to the point where there's security and stability just coming from rentals, and then using fix and flip to pay down the debt and the mortgages on those properties, working towards a debt-free lifestyle. And where I can couple in the agent side of that is a few things. It's to continue to work with investors, especially existing clients who really, as we get into multiple years working together, I want to continue those relationships long term. It's also listing properties for friends and family, becoming an expert at listings. Um, and yeah, I think really those things all together are part of what that 5 year vision is for me.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love that vision. I love the vision for the debt-free lifestyle, the paid off rentals through doing flips. That's so cool. I mean, that's true freedom when you can get to a place where you have a paid off rental portfolio, and that's something I hope I have someday too.
Mm.
There's no mortgages to pay.
Yeah.
I'm helping a client right now, and he's at retirement age, so he's getting ready to start selling his portfolio, but everything is free and clear. Like
Mm.
every single building he owns is paid in full. And part of the challenge that working with him is that he hasn't raised rents in like 15 years. And he's like, I don't have to. It's all paid
Yep.
off. My
Yep.
expenses aren't going up.
It's incredible.
And so now it's like, well, we kind of need to raise them to sell it for a higher price. And he's giving me all this kickback about it. But what a luxury to have, to never
Yes.
have to raise the rent because you're getting exactly what you need, because they're paid off. There's nobody to answer to. So
Absolutely. And to continue to be in a position to provide clean, nice housing for all of those tenants
yeah.
who don't have to worry about the price hikes and don't have to worry about will they have to move. So there's stability on both fronts. And for your client, knowing he doesn't have to deal with constant turnovers and vacancies and make readies, it sounds like a win-win for both sides.
Yeah, it really was. It wasn't until I started bugging him that the tenants felt like they weren't winning anymore. Because I was like, "Hey, we really need a vacant unit to show." And
Yeah.
this poor lady had been in there for 15 years, rent never raised, and she's like, "I can't afford to move." And I'm like, "Yeah, your rent's like 50% off every month right now, and unfortunately, that's gonna end."
Yes. Yeah. I think 15 years is a nice runway for
Yeah.
below market rent.
Yeah, it was a good run for her, but, yeah, she eventually found a place, and they're getting ready to show her unit pretty soon here. Cool, man. So, you told me a little bit about kind of what your future. I love going 5 years out because
Mm.
I'll just remind people that like so many of us overestimate what we can accomplish in 1 year, and then we vastly underestimate what we can accomplish in 5 years.
Yes.
And in 5 years, you can totally change anything about yourself, anything about your finances. Some major things can happen in a 5 year window, and everybody wants to get it done this year. And sometimes this year is just paying tuition.
Mhm.
That was definitely the case for me when I started in real estate and did my first deal and lost money. And I think you had a similar experience on your first deal. You were just paying the tuition.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. Do not care to share on this podcast how much money I lost in that
Yeah,
first deal, but
no need to.
absolutely, that is
Yep.
that is my education moving forward, and I will guarantee you, I learned the most in that one deal than any other deal since.
Right. Yep. And that's why you're here today, and that's why you're having the success you're having today too, because it's all part of the part of failing forward. And
Yeah.
yeah, I love what you got going on. Your mindset incredible, and I love that people are able to get a glimpse into where you're at today, what you're thinking about, and how you're doing deals. Because I think it could help a lot of agents to learn from you. So if you're watching this or listening to this, reach out to David Dyer, man. He is a wealth of knowledge, loves to share, loves to network. Um, you need to start surrounding yourself with guys like David because he said it. You're the average of the five people you spend the most time with. His environment has changed, and he's starting to have a lot of success because of that. David, thank you for being on the show. It's been a tremendous pleasure to work with you and to hear your story. And I can't wait to have people listen to this.
Yeah, thanks, David. I appreciate you having me on.
Awesome.